주당 소지 전하라 전주 번도 나닌 조선제 나지 진소 집에 소남지 돌아 변제 상제 두브라쇼 상제 주당 소지 전함라 전주 번도 나닌 조선 나지 진소 집에 소남지 돌아 변제 상제 두브라쇼 상제 주당 소지 전함라 전주 번도 나닌 조선제 나지 진소 집에 소남 돌아 변제 상제 두브라쇼. Tashdile, everyone. So, first, I will like to give some brief introductions of myself. I am Geshe Sangye from Sangye Monastery. I became a monk here in Kopan Monastery under Gyabje Khyentse Rinpoche Jizu Sangbo, and then I ordained graceful bow from Kirti Tsenshe Rinpoche, and so then I was been sent to Sera for study the Buddhist philosophy for last 24 years. Well, so today I'm going to give some brief talk about precious human life. So, first of all, that what is the difference between the human life and the precious human life? So we normally used to call a precious human life. So there isn't any differences. The human life itself is a precious human life. So this has a many perspective way of seeing how precious it is. Like if you see from the Buddhist point of view, or if you see is as a human, general human point of view without touching any Dharma. So most of the people we take granted as we born as a human birth. We don't even think that what and how important, how precious is this human life is. So, for example, we can have an example of how precious this is. As like, if you want to continue, if you want to do something very important things, or if you want to continue your, the aim, like for example, some are becoming doctors, some are becoming engineers, some are becoming high professional politicians, or whatever in your profession. So what you need is that you have to have a very perfect human life. So this is the human life that you can transform it into the doctor. You can transform it into the pilots, if you can, like a rich businessman, or you can transform it as a very good practitioner in any religions, like in Christian, Muslims, Buddhists, Hindus, whichever the religions you follow, you can transform it to make more perfect. So that is in your hand. For example, there are many beings. Among the many beings, the human life have potentials to do something more important than what others cannot do. For example, the animals, the birds, the cows, or other animals like monkeys, they have their own potentials way of their own life, but comparing with the human being, they don't have it. Like the human being, they have many potentials of thinking what can be done for making it more better. Yeah. So at the same time, that if you don't use that your life, the very precious one, if you don't use or you don't take it at the right directions, sometimes it is very dangerous. We have many examples in the world that the few very powerful people ruin the country, mislead the people. Yeah, there are many like that, but as I said, the potential are in your hand. Everything. Whether you want to direct your human life into the to make it more reasonable, to make it more beneficial, to make it to benefit a lots of people. That's up to your hand. So at the same time, it can be mislead sometime by thinking, like some kind of unnecessary things, which can lead you to such a very awful situations. So you have to know, like our human rebirth, being as a human, we have our responsibilities towards the world, towards the surroundings, towards the people around us, the animals around us. That we have a huge responsibilities that we can do if you want to, and it can make lots of differences. Sometimes, for example, like you have a pet in your home, you have the pets, they must need you. Every time they must need you. When they get sick or when they get into difficulties, they must need you, because they cannot survive, or maybe they cannot do anything by their own, or like that. So the human beings have that kind of potentials to help yourself and to help others, to take care of others, and also to take care of the environments. And at the same time, as I said, if you have a wrong view, if you mislead it, then there is like some kind, you are the most powerful people, most powerful being to ruin the world, to ruin the environment. That's why the best way and the best things is to lead your human life in the right direction. So this is a general the value of the human being I'm saying, and then there's in the Buddhist point of view, the human being's life is more precious, is the most precious to get this life. In the Buddhist point of view, it says that it has lots of potentials. It has 8 unfree stage and 10 riches that we called. So, like for the 8 unfree state is like hell being, predators, animals, long life God, or born in a border country where there is a very remote country, and incomplete facilities or wrong views, or the place where the Buddha was not born or Buddha was not visited. Yeah. So these are the very unfree stages. So, and then there are at the same time there's 10 riches to be born as a human. The one first thing, and then another thing is centrally born, and the third one is that with a perfect sense of power, and the fourth is having unprevented livelihood, and the fifth is faith in the right place for the others, and where the place that Buddha was appeared, and there was a Dharma was being taught, the teaching is remain, and have people to follow the teachings, and the teachers who compassionately benefits the people. So these are the Buddhist point of view, that there's 8 unfree stages and there's 10 riches. Yeah. So we can go through the 8 unfree stages, like for example the hell realms or hell beings. So there's many stages of the hell beings, and all the hell beings, they don't even have a chance to practice the Dharma, chance to practice, to think about their own self, because they have lots of pains, the cold realm, hot realms, and then there are many other realms. They don't have even chances to visit or chances to hear the teachings. At the same time, pretas always are looking for the foods. They are like every time, so they don't even have a time to, or opportunities to listen the teachings, or opportunity to think, or it doesn't even appear to their thoughts. And the animals, I'm not dominating the animals. Of course, animals are the most friendly creatures towards the human beings, and even then they have, when they get get into difficulties, they don't have a potentials to serve or to save by themselves, or to serve their own self or others. It's very rare. It's even not possible for them to do that. And the long life God, we said, long life God is like that. They will remain as a God for the kalpas and kalpas. And so they even don't know why should they have to practice the Dharma. They're in such a very luxurious stage, so they even don't remember. They even don't feel to practice the Dharma. And one thing is, to burn is a very remote area, where there's the remote area here. It means where there is no sounds of Dharma. So if you burn in such a place, so it's also very, where you cannot hear the Dharma, you cannot practice the Dharma. And so another thing is incomplete faculties. So these things, and then also if you have a wrong view, even if there's a Buddha in front of you, and then he's teaching or he's leading you, the Buddha him, he himself is in front of you, but if his teachings are not going into your brain, because you have some kind of blockage, because sometimes it might be because of the pride, or maybe some other things that it is blocking the teachings to get into your brain, so that's a wrong view, or sometimes you have a wrong view of Buddha, that you take him as just a normal or something, and then the teaching doesn't go to your head. And some place where Buddha doesn't visit, it's the same like as a remote area. So even though you have that kind of potentials, you're having such a perfect sense of powers, but if Buddha is not around, or the teachers, or whoever teaches the Buddhist, Buddha's teaching, if they are not around, and you are alone there, and it doesn't work, because if you have every other facilities, but there is no people or no Buddha, teaching you, or your teacher not there. So these are the like unfree stages, where you have some stages you have a potentials, everything is there, but lack of teachers, lack of teachings, lack of opportunities, so and so things. So as a human being, we have that kind of all the 10 richest potentials. We born as a human being, and then we centrally born in this universe where the Buddha was born, and Buddha has taught, and many Buddha has visited, and we have tons and tons of teachings that we can follow. We have many options. We can say that we have buffets of the teachings. We have for example, in Tibetan Buddhism, that you have many teachers, and then they have explained the Buddha's teaching, and the Pandita from the Nagarjuna to the Aya Asanga and everybody from the Nalanda scholars, their teaching has been flourished into Tibet, and then it has been translated into Tibetan script. So you have that kind of buffets. When you go to the 5-star hotels, that you have a buffet around you, you can have any kind of food that you would like to, yeah? So it's the same thing, that you have many options, like for many different traditions. Different teachers has explained in different way for their for the people who can understand easily, yeah. They are the lineage of Kagyu, they have a lineage of Nyingma, they are lineage of Gelug, they are lineage of Sakya, they are lineage of many different other things, in between the Kagyus, in between the Nyingmas, in between the Gelug, and in between the Sakyas. So you have so much many options. You don't have to stick in one place. If you feel it's difficult, you can just try another traditions or try another teachers who explained, and which is sometimes that you have a karmic relations with this kind of teachings, yeah, who explained the way you wish to, the way you wanted to have it. So these are the things. We are born in this universe where there is a lots of Buddhist teaching still remained, and of course with unheard sense of power, we have everything potentials, as I'm using these words for many times, that we have such a unheard sense of power to get the teachings, to make yourself better human being, to make yourself more practitioner, that you have a potential. So you have all intact sense of powers is with you, and then you have a unprohibited livelihood, having that kind of livelihood that which you can direct it into the most beneficial things, most beneficial things, or most beneficial people or person you can make by your own. So like then and then the then you can also build the faith into the right place, yeah. And these are the things. These are the 5 things to build up in your own. And there's another 5 things from the others, like a Buddha appeared, taught of Dharma, and the teachings remain, and having followers and teacher who is compassionately benefits others. These are the 5 other riches from the others. Yeah, so you're very fortunate. I'm very fortunate as well. And then because we are here to get the teachings from His Holiness the Dalai Lama, Gyabje Lama Sopa Rinpoche, and many other teachers, yeah, many other teachers. As I said, not only for the Gelug traditions, but many other different traditions. Many teachers are there, and the Dhamma. Even though you meet the teachers there, but if they didn't teach you, or if you didn't get the teachings from there, and there's another thing, you have been born as a human being. You met such a high Lama, high teachers, such a great scholars, but if they didn't teach you, then still, then it is not use. And then not only you get to meet the teachers, but they teach you, they taught the Dharma to you. And then that only they taught the Dharma because the Dharma is remained, is still there. The Buddha's teaching is not gone, it is still there. So you have that opportunity, you have got that opportunity to learn the Dharma, yeah. And then if there is no followers, then maybe the teacher will not teach, because somebody has to be there to teach. And then the Dharma, even the Dharma is remain, and then the followers are there and the teacher teaches, isn't it? So they teach with the compassionate, they are compassionate, using the compassion to benefit you. So these are the things that facilities for you to have such a good human rebirth. You have to have such a opportunity to learn or to make yourself better. So another thing is that I just want to add some more about to utilize your human rebirth in the good direction. Is like sometime when we used to say that we are practicing a Buddhism, we are practicing this religion, that religion, so whatever the religions are, every religion teaches humanity, yeah. But sometimes we unknowingly get some wrong informations about the religions, between the religions. So for example, like if somebody explained you in like, oh, you have to become a Tibetan Buddhism, and you have that kind of, what means a Buddhism, like, oh, maybe like some kind of like, like staying calmly, shutting your, like eyes and just pretending, doing meditation, so like that. Or sometime, like, traditionally you will be told, oh, you need to do the prostrations, you need to do that, you need to do this, you need to, like that. But the basic thing, if you don't understand the basic thing, it applies to every religion. If you don't have the understanding of the basic things, so it's really difficult. And so if you prepared that basic line to add up more about the understandings, the understanding the religion, understanding the, for example, understanding the Buddhism, yeah. For understanding the Buddhism is that you have to know the fundamental way of the teachings, fundamental stage of the practices. Rather than you just you cannot jump to the next level without knowing the fundamental way, fundamental stages, yeah. So that is the one thing. And then don't ever mix your Dharma or with the tradition, even though the tradition has to go together with it. But sometimes we want to understand the things we are practicing morely following the tradition, but not the real Dharma, real Buddha's teaching. So the fundamental basic practice is so much important. You have to get prepared with your own brain, yeah, thoughts. You have to know that. Why are you want to become a Buddhist? Where are you want to become some other religious, yeah? So you need to know why. You have that question, and then you have to find the answer into it. If you find the answer for by practicing the Buddhism, then you go for it. And then, as I said, not only because of the tradition, but you have to go through the reasoning it, yeah. When the Buddha teaches, you have to listen lots of teachings. You have to listen to teachings from your teachers, read the books from there, many different teachers, and then you have a question within you, but you have to find the answer. We have to find the answer. If there is an answer, then yeah, then that is the thing. But sometime when in the middle of the way, we will be lost. Sometimes we even don't know what we are doing, yeah. So before you practice all the, like doing the prostrations, offering lights, or like offering foods for the, bakers, or helping others. These are the humanity things. But even then, if you want to go through the Buddhist point of view, then you really needs to have the fundamental practices. You really need to understand that stages. Yeah. So if you understood the benefits, the way how you have to do it, to practice your to practice your mind, to practice the mindfulness or so and so things, so that you have to understanding the basic teachings of the Buddha. Yeah? So the blind faith, we talk about this. Yeah, we shouldn't go for that. The blind faith sometimes will leads you very wrong direction. Yeah, you must have to have such a open mind. Yeah, you have to have such a highly without any stressful mind. You have to have such kind of practice you need to have. So with that, then you can add more ideas, add more solutions to make your life better, to search the answer. Yeah. So to adding of it, the most thing is that first you need to have a fundamental practices. So after you have a basic things well known, you must have to give a more time for it. If you have if you want to have some kind of many practices, like doing a retreat, for example, you must, if you are doing a retreat for the 8 days, at least you have to give a 10 days to understand it, to know more about it, rather than you go to do the retreat and then someone will lead you, someone will just lead you how to ring the bell, where to ring the bells, and all these things, and then it doesn't work. You are doing a drama, not the dharma. I think so. So because it may have some kind of peaceful mind for a second, or for minutes, or for days, but it is not that it won't last. It won't last. It will be not that remain for a long time, because you are learning, or you are doing something which is not totally connected with your practice. Because you are learning something to do, the way people are doing actually. So for example, that when you do the retreat, you must have to, as I said, you must have to give so long time, or so much free time to understand about it, and to how to do about it, and then why you must have to do that. You have to find out the answers first, and then also you need to learn so many things from that, and then you can continue it. So like that, rather than all we have just go for it, and then sometime then you just recite the mantras, and then you become stressful because you couldn't continue, you couldn't complete the certain numbers of mantra in certain hours or certain minutes. Then you become a very stressful. I think that is actually not the reason, is not the reason that you are doing a retreat, isn't it? So so that's why you have that potentials, you have that kind of you have that kind of power to make it more better retreat, more better prostrations, more better water offerings, more better giving or offering foods to the needy people. So you have that kind of, if you learn that things, then you can make it more better, you can make more powerful. So that are the things, like that. So that because that you have potentials, you have to use it. You have to use that potentials to make it more better. Yeah. So just as a humanity, for example, that we are feeding people food for the needies, it's a humanity. It's some kind of touch, yeah, some kind of understandings. But it can, at the same time, just because of your thought, you can transform it into more, maybe 100,000 times more beneficial. You know. Okay. So this is like that. Dharma, every time when we do a practice, is to train your mind. Yeah. So by giving a food for the needies is the humanity, as we have a responsibilities to look after each other. That's our humanity. But at the same time, you have some kind of chances in that right moment. If you just transform it into more beneficial way, then you can transform it into a huge, unbelievable benefits. What benefits you get it is that you turn your mind by giving, and all you have to set up all the motivations, and then the action and the result. So when you set up the motivations before you give the foods for the needies, and then after that the actions of giving, and then the satisfactions of after giving that. So these are the really very you don't have to put a lot so many times, but you can have a lot of benefits from there. That's the things. You will gain a lots of benefits. You very long list, like very such a heavy satisfactions from there. Same thing. It's only example. So for like a practicing a compassion, or practicing whatever, doing a meditations. So must have to know three things before you do that. Yeah, you must have to know the set up the motivation. You do the action and the result. Yeah. So the results also have to be like you have to be satisfied with it, rather than like you put a lots of efforts on it, and then when you finish the sessions and you don't get anything. Rather than sometimes people may get a stressful anger. If you generate that, means something is wrong in between the setting up the motivations and your action, because the result becoming a negative. You must have to check what you are doing. For example, I have given about the retreat. It's the same thing. The motivations of retreat maybe is you have set up very well, and then the most important thing is action. When you are doing the retreat, and after you finish the retreat is the result. So these things are really, really important. Yeah. So you have a potentials of that. Yeah. And then so I think maybe for the animals, or maybe for the hungry ghosts, hell realms, they doesn't have this kind of potentials to think. To make it better, to make your thoughts better, isn't it? For yourself, to look after yourself better, so that you can benefit numberless of people, numberless of animals, and so. So that potentials they doesn't have. That makes you a human rebirth. That makes you alive. That makes you a better and precious person. Yeah, you can make it within your family, within your with your kids, your wife or your husbands, or maybe your father, parents or mother, whoever. When you have that kind of peaceful mind within your family, you can really make the differences. So everything you have that kind of potentials. That what I'm trying to say is that if you want to lead it into wrong directions, or if you want to take it into the right directions. So what is the right direction and what is the wrong direction? It means that the right direction is that you don't regret what you have been doing, or what you have done. So that is the wrong direction. Is that if you have a regret of what you have done, or or you're very sorry of it, something with your actions. So that is the wrong direction. The right direction has lots of unbelievable satisfaction, happy moments, happy within the family, happy within the community, happy within the people around you everywhere, and even in the schools, colleges, or in the offices, wherever you walk, So that really makes a difference. So whenever you, so this is that what we can convert it into the happiness, happy moments, or happy life, happy days, So for example, sometimes you go with the right motivations, with the smiles on your face, go to the office, the whole day of your day will be such a wonderful. Yeah, and then if you go with a stressful and anger or some jealousy or something with you, and you attend the office, I think maybe the whole of your day will be such a miserable like that. So, so this is the very basic way of understanding how you can benefit people with the precious human life that you have gained, that you have now, and shouldn't waste it. Yeah, unbelievably. There's a teachings of Buddha saying that this human rebirth is like a lightning, will happen sometime in a sudden time, just like a few seconds like that. Yeah, so it's very difficult, very rare to have this human life, but very easy to vanish, or easy to it doesn't take even a so long time to vanish. It's very easy. So the Buddha has given some kind of these examples. It's like when the thunderstorm happening, there's a lightning. It's like that. Your life is like that. So you have to utilize. You have to make a benefits of what you have gained, what you are. So that makes a really precious human life. Thank you. Chanju Simju Rimboje, Ma Ye Bana Ki Yujin, Kyawa Nyamba Meba Yang Kone Kongdu Pewar Sho, Tony Tawa Rimboje, Ma Ye Bana, Kyawa Nyamba Meba Yang Kone Kongdu Pewar Sho, Lama Sangye Lama Tishin Lama Kinde Kunji Chibo Lama Namla Cha Lo.